There we go. So I'm going to section the hair in the hot crossbone fashion, but I'm going to go from the parting that it's already got. So we're just slightly off centre with this parting. So I'm going to go down to the back of the head to the nape, and then from the highest point of the head down to the back of the ear. So I'm just going to start by leaving my first section down. And then I'm just going to do the same on this side, going from the highest point of the head to the back of the ear. Sectioning off that front. So this first section I've taken out is probably just under about an inch thick at the bottom. And then from what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the first third with the bleach that's already in there. Then I'm going to melt in the copper and then put it into the red. So I'm going to just glove up quickly. I'm just going to So there's a couple of ways you can do this. I'm going to show you one way. First of all, you could either use a bit of foil and you can mark on your foil with your colours where you want it to start. And then you can paint onto the foil the colour that you're using. Some people like to do this so that they know every time when they put it on the head they can see where they're going in with the colour. So I'm just going to take half of this section first. So this is going in up to the root, and I'm just going to lay the hair then onto the colour foil that we've already got here. And then I'm just going to grab my copper colour and I'm going to paint that onto the copper area. And then the red colour and paint that through to the red. So I've just left a slight gap here between the two. And I'm going to go in with a dry brush and I'm just going to bring those two colours in together. Now it's up to you then, you can take that foil off once the colour's on. And you can keep using this foil through each section, knowing where you're going in with each colour. So I've just taken it from one side to the next, painting on from where my red starts and where my copper starts. And then I'm going to go back in with my dry brush again and just melt the two colours in together. So I'm going to take that away. Or you could just use your paddle board, which I find a bit easier because it's not as flimsy as the foil, but it all depends on what you have available to you. So I'm literally just going to work my way through the head, working up in horizontal sections through this back. So I'm going to do the whole of the back probably within 5 sections at the most. And then I'm just melt it into the red. And then I'm going to get my dry brush and just bring the 2 colours in together. So you don't have to keep changing your dry brush. So I'm going to go in 2/3 of the way down, to see if you can see that a bit. There we go. Sorry, 1/3 of the way down, leaving some of that blonde at the top. Going in with the copper colour. And just really freehand painting it in there, making sure you're getting a good amount of colour through. And then bringing the red down to the ends. And again, going back in with your dry brush and just blending those 2 colours in together. So you can do, obviously, because we've pre-lightened this, using these colours on the hair that are going to be a bit more vibrant and stand out is going to work really well because we have pre-lightened it. But if the hair was this dark and you was trying to put these colours on top without pre-lightening, you would definitely have to go in with a stronger peroxide. You would definitely need your 30 vol, especially on the 8, to get that lift through the ends. And again, I pick these colours so I can work quite easy with my doll, and also because it's, you know, I haven't got that much stock and there's sort of like end colours that I've got left. So I've just broken this section rather into 2, I'm taking it into 3. Just so I'm never taking it any wider than the paddle board that I'm using. I also think the paddle board is better because of how much sturdier it is. You can really feel like you're working the colour into the hair, whereas with the foil, where it's a little bit flimsier, you don't get so much you know, sturdiness to it. You're not quite sure if you're really working the 2 colours in hard enough together. And the other thing you want to think about as well is, you know, this is a great change for somebody that's had ombre for a little while, but again, doesn't want the maintenance of roots. And it's just about adapting what your client has and, you know, changing their service every now and again for them. and it's not damaging at all on the hair either. Using these professional colours with the weaker peroxides, we're not adding any more bleach or any more damage. So again, keeping my sections about 1 inch thick as I'm going across. Putting the paddle a good sort of third of the way down. And when I'm putting this first bit of copper on, I'm not placing the colour and taking it down, that it's a heavy line. I'm just working it softer through the hair. So again, you don't get any lines in the hair like we was doing with the ombre with the pointed brush. I'm going to keep this section into 3 as well. So again, with your tools, it really is about having a little play, seeing what you prefer. And we've got these paddles at college that you can have a play with them if you haven't got any yourself. But do try this as well with the foil, because some people just prefer that technique. But again, like I say, I like the support that the paddle gives. It's a little bit more sturdier. Now my paddle's just getting a little bit dirty on the top edge, so I'm going to grab an old towel and just clean that back off, because I don't want it touching too much of the blonde at the top. So just giving that a nice clean down, working in clean sections and keeping your tools nice and clean as well really helps your service. Gives you a much more professional image, and image to yourself and image at the end on your client. So something to really think about. And as well as stroking the hair down with the colour, you also want to be sort of moving the colour up into the hair as well when you're applying it. But also, again, just leaving that little gap between the two and bringing the colours together. So my last top section at the back. Just going to split this into 2. There we go. And then the last one. I'm trying to get this at a good angle for you. we go. So what we don't obviously want to happen, because we're calling this a colour melt, we don't want any solid lines. So everything that is in there, just see if I can show it you a bit closer, nothing is left heavy at all. Everything is sort of feathered through to the top, a bit like we did on the ombre, and then melted down into the two colours by using that clean brush, bringing the two colours together. There we go, just start on the sides. So I'm going to work these sides away from the client's face, because obviously we don't want anything left hanging over their face. So I'm going to start working it that we're bringing these sections back. Again, my paddle's slightly dirty, so I'm just going to clean it off, starting afresh. And as I stretch this section back, making sure you can see, the colour here, where we did the back combing on this side, starts slightly lower. So I'm just going to move my paddle down slightly so I can keep a bit of that blonde in like the rest of the hair. So this is the copper, and I'm just softly brushing it through. And I'm going to leave that small gap between and paint the red through the ends. So I've got that little small gap, and now I'm just bringing the two colours together. There we go. Can already see that colour really changing through the ends. So if you were doing this with colours that were more than 2 shades apart, that's absolutely fine. I see it with crazy colours quite a lot, where you're going from, you know, like dark purple or blue into purple into pink, and keeping those really bold colours. So you just want to really work on this technique, getting that melt action together. So you're bringing what would essentially be 3 colours, but we've already got the bleach. And you're bringing them nicely. I mean, if somebody had like a lot of grey in their roots, but they didn't want it dark all over, you could paint the base colour through the top and keep working it into lighter colours as you go through. And this is how I would suggest you do it. You know, you find a lot of people that do go grey and are a little bit, you know, more older and more conscious of it, and they want to cover it, but their skin tone has changed as well. And what you tend to find is actually that dark colour that gives you the really good 100% coverage is too dark for the skin. So, you know, you could even cover it, the roots, with that dark, and work your way down using lighter tints as you go. So what was hitting the client's skin tone is then lighter colour tints, so it's not too dark against their skin tone. So it really is just thinking sort of outside the box a little bit, and being able to offer your client something a little bit different. But yeah, so it's really about sort of working on your technique. I probably shouldn't have worn a white dress this morning. I'm a bit paranoid. Again, keeping your sections sort of an inch thick as you go, making sure that colour's working all the way through the hair. You don't want too much hair that the colour isn't penetrating through. I mean, as I hold that up, you can see the light coming through it. It's not too thick that you're not going to get through. Just going to clean my board down once more. Sorry about that. Right, I can actually see here that a bit of colour's missed getting on that little bit, so I'm just going to repaint over that section. There we go. So it really is just, you know, checking over your sections, making sure you're really getting enough colour through each section. There we go. So that's all that side finished. I'm just going to wipe my equipment down again. So I'm just making sure my dry brush is staying quite dry, not getting too much product on it, and I'm just cleaning the board down as I go. So we've just got this one section left now, and then I'll leave the doll to process. And then obviously I'll dry it and finish it off and show you the results through the photos at the end. So I'm just clipping this section cleanly out the way so it isn't touching any of the other hair. And again, I'm just directing it back off of what would be the client's face, leaving that sort of good first third blonde. And then going back in once more with my dry brush, just bringing the two colours together. I mean, going back to what I was saying about if your client was quite grey and you wanted to cover the roots, and naturally they were quite dark, like previously to going grey, you may have to do like a really weak bleach bath on the mid-lengths and ends to pick up the lighter tints. But again, because you would be placing the 20 vol on the root, if you wanted to work anything like a 30 vol, sort of a good inch or more away from the roots, it's not going to irritate the root. We don't really like using 30 vol on the scalp. But again, you wouldn't be doing that. You would be using your 20 vol to get the coverage of the grey to the root area. and then you could be using your tints with the stronger peroxide through the rest to get the levels of lift coming through the hair. Again, you would have to consider if they've had any previous colours on their hair. If they've been box dyeing their hair with dark colours for a little while, you might need that bleach bath. It might not be necessary, but it all depends on who the client is sat in the seat, really, what their past history is of dyeing their hair and what you can achieve. But again, you can do colour tests to work all that out. I think the harder thing now is they want consultations to be done more virtually, which isn't going to help with the colouring process as much. So people are still going to have to come in for patch tests and colour tests, but it might mean that we have to speed those up a little bit, or give them the patch test that they do themselves at home. And colour tests can be done prior to the service, so you can I have shown a few of the level 2s and 3s from Whitney that you can take a bit of hair and test cut it and put it in a bit of foil with the colour you want and use your straighteners and heat over them, and it speeds up the colour process. It literally has to be on for about 4 minutes and you can wash it off and you can see what the colour's going to be like. So it might not be that you have to have so many appointments of people coming in, because obviously that's what they're going to want to not have now in salons, is so many bodies walking in and out of the shop, because you're going to have to clean it down so much in between. So that's also a good way. What I might do is take a bit of hair from one of the doll's heads and do that and record it so you can see the process of that. And then you can always consider that in the future as well. So I've literally just worked my way through each section then, like I say, an inch horizontal or vertically, pulling it away from the face as we worked around. And then it really is about sort of just judging how much colour we wanted left, putting the copper in and then mounting it into the red to go through to the ends. But like I say, that is already taken really nicely on what was there. Just going to spin the camera. There we go. So again, nothing is left just placed on the hair. You can see how I've sort of feathered that in and then brought the two colours in together. There's no heavy lines, there's no stoppage. It's just bringing all the colours into one another. And like I say, you could start this with a root tint and going down each level, even if it was sort of half a shade or a shade in between. If you had somebody that wanted to cover their grey roots, but their skin tone was too fair to have such a dark colour against them, you could work this for any type of client, really. It's just working out what they've had on the hair previously and what you need to do to achieve it. But I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them. No? Okay. Well, I'm gonna hopefully then do another live with you. I think tomorrow I'm having a meeting with the level 1s, but on Thursday or possibly Friday I'll let you know. But yeah, we'll definitely do another live. I'll finish this off. I'll wash it off once it's ready, and then I'll send you the pictures of that. But I'll look into possibly doing a hair up on this doll, and then we might look at doing another cut on the doll that we did the other week with the fringe. But that's lovely. I hope you all had a really nice half term and you enjoyed the weather and everything. and go and enjoy the last day of sunshine today, because I think we're having a bit of rain tomorrow. But thank you for joining me again. I really do appreciate it. If anybody has any questions and they want to message me, then that's great. Go ahead. But yeah, that's lovely. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Leanne.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.